Arlington, Texas, it's Saturday night, and we have one match to decide who's gonna play on Championship Sunday. We have Optic Gaming versus Nemesis, a rematch of what happened so early on this morning. These players have been grinding through the elimination bracket. Nemesis joining a little bit later, but it's been a long day for these guys, and in order to get to Championship Sunday, they got to go through each other. This match for top four, I'm Clutch, joined by Dave Walsh. And Walsh, tell me about the mindset of Optic Gaming, getting an opportunity to right some of the wrongs that's gone on this weekend that happened so much earlier today.
I mean, this match is inevitable. It's quite literally lights out last night, and it was to start the match today, and it's going to end the series tonight. One of them, like you said, thinking, what went wrong? How do we do this incorrect? And the other one going on to Championship Sunday. You know Optic Gaming are looking for their revenge here. Same time, Nemesis, they had their number on 2 different days. Can they get the third time? Make the three-peat. Let's see what Nemesis got.
Both these two teams come fired up. Let's hope the fans get fired up. We're kicking off game one hot. It's gonna be Forbidden CTF, 2 snipes and an OS top middle, and you know that every single one of these players want to get an opportunity to change the outcome of this game with the S7, but we're going to start with the man of the day so far for Optic Gaming. Renegade has been on a tear in this elimination bracket. He's making his way to snipe, can't quite get there as he takes shots across the map. Gets dropped to no shield. Going to passively play this situation. He loses 2 teammates. He pushes past the snipe, and now Nemesis might not know he's here, but they will have an overshield to deal with him.
They have to know a trap is something's going on. They saw the snipe wasn't picked up. Look at this, checking every single corner, saying, we don't know where Renegade's at. Let's make sure we find him before we overextend. But looks like flag is going out. Renegade got a melee on a Snipedrone, so my guess is that Renegade snuck on through and got Nemesis a sniper.
Renegade had so much responsibility to find a pick before this flag gets too far. He does just that off screen, and now he's got his snipe back in hand. That flag gets denied at its door. Right now, Optic Gaming being able to reset the map, and Renegade right where he wanted to be all along with the snipe in hand on his side of the map with every member of Nemesis in front of him.
Yeah, he knows that these players are going to be trying to take over towards this attic. Looking like he's trying to help secure the opposite snipe tower. That's going to be the #1 top spot that Optic and both these teams are going to be trying to control in order to get a flag push across the map. Nemesis doing a great job defending their snipe hut. But Renegade trying to take a sneaky angle. Let's see what he can do here.
He spots one in the snipe, gets caught off guard, can't quite hit the no-scope. The flicks, they're missing, and because of that, Renegade now under pressure from several members of Nemesis. Left, right, and center. Can he get a kill? No, he's not able to trade, and he's going to hand that snipe over to SLG. SLG does get traded, but it will be Nemesis trading back. It's a 2-on-2 situation now with Bound and Lqgend, the players that Goofy called out in order to step up. What can Lqgend give this Optic Green Wall squad?
Yeah, felt like Renegade's conscience got the best of him. He's like, you know, I should give the sniper back. I feel bad. I stole this from your base earlier. Let me drop it on back over at your hut. But now in the hands of Lqgend, he's just now going to create an opportunity for his teammates to get this pick and run this flag towards the sewer.
Second overshield coming up right now, top middle, and Lqgend creating some space for his team. It's a killing spree as he hits the double no-scope onto an unsuspecting Nemesis player. Trades across the board will benefit Optic Gaming because Lqgend is at your snipe, blocking those spawns. The flag is going to get pulled, and this is going to be difficult for Nemesis. You see them spawning all towards the back ramp. They're not going to have the angle immediately on the flag carrier. Renegade will go down with the flag, however. Lqgend is forced to engage with the player back door, can't get the kill, and 3 members of Optic go down, so Nemesis defense stands strong.
Yeah, they had the right positions, but didn't have the snipe ammo to back it up. The fact that Lqgend got back down, didn't have a shield to even shoot a bandit across there, left Renegade out to dry, and that's why that flag did not make any progress.
And here comes Nemesis. You see multiple players of Optic trying to come up the ramp. One gets denied into the courtyard. The other one does make it up the ramp, and they all 3 find separate kills. Optic reset the map immediately, and with snipes coming up, Optic will have an advantage to try and take Nemesis snipe while also getting their own.
Yeah, Optic going for the second snipe in a row here. Last time it was a nice flank by Renegade. This time just gonna be right in front of them, snatch it in front of their eyes.
This is dangerous, Dave. Renegade has his snipe. Someone else has the other Optic Gaming snipe, and right now the flag being run, Renegade anchoring their snipe is the first player you gotta try and deal with, and unfortunately only WuTum is the last player alive. WuTum's taken down, all 4 Nemesis players go down. That flag hits the tunnel, and you can guarantee this flag is going in for Optic Gaming.
Yeah, right now, Nemesis aren't worried about one cap, they gotta be worried about a double cap because they still have such strong positions here for Optic Gaming.
The green wall chants start, the players start to get hot, the power weapons all favoring Optic Gaming right now, and it's Lqgend who's found himself the Optic Gaming snipe, and he's putting it to work. Snipedrone down. Also tries to stay alive, can't quite stay on the map with the thrust to the side. At least one snipe's off the map, but still Renegade reigns terror. A killing spree for Renegade, and he's still at the base. The flag goes in, but goes right past. Renegade's at the other base. They may be able to get the return. It's an overextension. You don't come back with the flag, and you pay for it. But not only that, Dave, a counter cap opportunity.
A rare miss G-slide there from Bound. I mean, you gotta consider he's been here for countless hours today. Rare miss counts that second flag, and that gets recovered. In fact, like you said, a potential counter cap here. This could be a tied cap instead of just a single cap difference.
Full overshield with the flag carrier. Snipedrone not even getting pecked in the back. Still has overshield to work with, and as he gets it up to this hump, he is going to lose two teammates. Pay very much attention to that. Optic Gaming are going to have numbers, but nobody has eyes on the flag. That overshield allows him to punch it in safely, and we have a tied game 1-1.
What a wild twist of events there. Nemesis coming up so clutch to stop Bound at that last moment. Also, when you consider someone like Renegade over at the Nemesis base doing so much damage, so many kills, he just assumes the rest of his teammates are going to pick that up. It's what set up that second double cap in the first place.
One person gets through, and all of a sudden,
it can all fall apart.
It all falls apart. This game gets tied up with the counter cap. A massive blunder from the Optic Gaming side has allowed Nemesis the opportunity to find some life. With that life, what do? They're pulling flag right now. Snipedrone's finding kills. All of a sudden, you have numbers. Flag on the move through tunnel. It's an untraditional route, yeah, but it can work with slaves behind it. Snipedrone trying to anchor his pistol. Knows that there's members of Optic, but having the wrong timing. He will be behind this player, and he's going to get a free kill here, you would think.
Gets at least the one pick there. The difficulty about running that sewer route that you saw from Nemesis is there's a chance for Optic to push in through attic or through sewer. So they have a couple different routes they can take to try to counteract this flag.
Somehow, in the meantime, though, Nemesis go 3 down. Lqgend finds not only a kill, but able to get the return and another kill on top of it. Lqgend makes the play, throws that flag out. Now, Lqgend has an opportunity to get Optic some significant advantage here. This flag is in a very dangerous spot for Nemesis respawners. Can they get the slaves behind it to continue to move this flag? 2 members of Optic go down, so you have to think this flag, a big risk. Renegade falling off the map, a bigger risk for Optic Gaming to try and continue this flag run.
Almost no room or moments to breathe for the players or the casters here as these flags have been flying out left and right. But now we have just a pause in this action as these next snipe kills by SLG and crew are really going to determine, do they have an opening for Nemesis to push into the Optic base and grab a flag, or will Optic hold a strong defense here?
I like how Glory's playing this right now. He's got overshield, but he's playing his life, making sure he keeps as much of his shield as possible. But as I say that, a snipe bullet from Lqgend will remove that overshield. But respawners are here for Nemesis. They have several angles. They're able to get a couple of kills. So he gets information on where a third player is. Lqgend still with this S7, one of the Optic members alive. A massive target for Nemesis before they get this flag on the move. They do throw it out, but they have to deal with Lqgend first.
Yeah, and Lqgend's uncertain of exactly how he wants to deal with this position. It's an odd spot to be. He's like, all right, this flag shouldn't really go anywhere, but at any moment, when a couple kills get picked up like that, that's the threatening part. Lqgend getting the shutdown on his former teammate SLG, but he has 2 members here in the attic. He's not gonna be long. He might toss the snipe off. No, he gives those last 2 bullets over to WuTum.
And even worse, the staggered respawners now that Optic's last 2 members took so long to die. It's a 2-on-4 situation with this flag already towards the tunnel. Bound has a massive responsibility to try and deny this flag. Can't get it done. Snipedrone is able to get not only Bound, but a player to no shield. This flag's still not on the move quite yet, and Formal throws a god nade from who knows where in order to stop that flag from the move continuously. Still 2 down for Optic, so it's this very scrappy flag run still. There will be somebody to try and compete for this cap.
But as these kills have been traded out, that's going to benefit Nemesis as they're spawning close to their base. That's going to be flag number 2 going in for Glory and the Nemesis squad.
And you wondered if Nemesis was kind of going to start slow after their series against FaZe, but they just didn't look like themselves so far throughout this weekend. They look like they are locked in for a series against Optic Gaming. They're giving them everything they can handle with a 2-1 lead right now, and a no-scope to the body of the Lqgend on top. You spawn there, you got lucky, that didn't register. As unfortunately, Renegade gonna win that pip, but another overshield goes to Nemesis. It's in the hands of WuTum, and the flag is on the move. If WuTum can get this kill, that would be massive. I love this by WuTum.
I mean, he doesn't even
this
get the
guy's
kills, he's
irrelevant.
just delayed.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job delaying as long as he holds off his attic. Here
Oh
comes Formal trying to get the touch. He at least gets a touch to buy his teammates time. But you gotta consider, WuTum with OS, you still have SLG back here able to grab this. Time is on Nemesis' side. They just have to buy time for their spawners.
Yeah, such a tricky situation for the last two members of Optic. Can they get a couple of kills? SLG, that's a solid trade out of you.
Happy trade.
But is anyone on the return right now? Who's gonna get this touch? That flag is about to return. It's not Glory's responsibility. He has no shield. He's gotta play his life. WuTum can't go for it either. The flag does not get touched. It actually returns, and now Optic Gaming, trying to get a touch of their own, are gonna hit the G side to make this a little bit further past the Mohawk. Pay attention to the kill feed. There's two members of Nemesis dead. There's two members that are no shield right in front of Renegade. If that flag can just continue on, nobody there for Optic Gaming to move it, however, and WuTum coming off spawn, getting that snipe, probably delays where this flag is going to go. It's going to be Bound that had the last say, and Bound has nothing to say about it. So Optic Gaming's respawn will reset the map once again.
Somehow that flag pull from Formal, what seemed like a desperation pull, ended up turning into the recovery. It had to be done, but most of the times when you see those last-second desperation pulls, it doesn't really amount to much.
Right, you're just delaying the inevitable.
But every single member of Optic doing what they needed to do to delay that a little bit longer, to go and get those crucial kills, and eventually get that flag recovery.
Formal might be 7-16, but he's the only reason this game is still going on right now. Snipedrone making sure that if this game does go on, he's going to have some impact on the rest of it. He hits a body after hitting a headshot here. As he tries to locate this player under him, he's going to have some help to be able to clean that one up, flush out his base, reset the map, and now they get to play with everything in front of them. Overshield just came up, so let's focus on it.
I was going to say this OS is probably Optic's best chance to get back in this game to get the second cap. Bound does snag it and activates the OS, but it gets melted near instantly. That OS went down so quick.
Flag on the move. 3 dead flag on the move. Snipedrone still has snipe in his hut, but is he going to be able to get an angle? Bound's responsibility is to shut this angle off. Snipedrone shuts down Bound right off, and Renegade's forced to drop that flag and try and keep running it. There are multiple players of Optic respawning towards this tunnel, however, so Snipedrone is going to need backup. A beautiful plasma grenade is going to allow them to have numbers advantage, but there's so many more members of Optic spawning towards this tunnel. They're going to have the favorable spawns because it's their half of the map. Where is the rest of Nemesis? Somehow Glory's behind enemy lines.
Interesting flank by Glory, not just go for the grab, instead go straight for the kills and go for the recovery. Can he get it? No. Melee gets traded out. Bound just buying time. Spawns coming in closer for Optic. They're fine to trade out here to eventually get the end, and Bound doesn't make the same mistake twice. Puts in that second flag for the tying flag.
Veteran plays from Optic Gaming to be patiently play around the spawns that are going around that tunnel. It was inevitable if they traded out that they were going to have the advantage. Then Bound waits for a shield, now ties this game up 2-2. 30 seconds on the clock in regulation, but regulation is irrelevant. Its next cap wins here in game 1.
Yeah, we're going to see this actually, we got Renegade pulling this one out right now. Not committing though. Wants to make sure his team gets the kills, doesn't want to set up some sort of rare counter cap circumstance, but still keeping that door open here for Optic. If a couple kills go in their favor, Renegade is going to be running that straight towards sewers.
How is this happening? Renegade's on a killing spree right now. He's been no shield forever.
Oh my God,
he
he's grabbed the new one. Grab the new flag.
The fight might return.
He's not going to be there.
Yeah, I mean.
I felt like Renegade set that up so well, got that killing spree. Felt like that player over in Hut should have been the one to grab that flag. Maybe slight miscommunication, or didn't see if someone else was no shields. But we're going back to a restart here. First flag wins in this overtime.
I mean, just 2-3 seconds left in regulation added to it, and we're talking about an Optic flag run, but what are we talking about now? Renegade trying to get a snipe once again. Heavy pressure. You can see the prioritization on the starting strats. Is make sure Renegade doesn't get away with the snipe for free. He does get his shield back. He does relocate towards an angle where he can see this overshield, and you can tell that's what's being prioritized. It is going to be about a 50-50 fight right now with both teams losing members. It is Nemesis that go 2 down, and that's got to be the key for Optic Gaming to potentially get an overshield, which is very rare for them in the first regulation of this game.
Yeah, and even though Renegade knows he can catch players off guard and by surprise towards that attic, he has a full sniper. He does not want to risk potentially losing that sniper and giving all that ammo on over to Nemesis.
2-on-2, WuTum, mouse and keyboard, Phenom. Can't hit the no-scopes. Formal makes him pay. Gets that snipe out of his hands, and unfortunately Formal can't hit the thrust stick there, so he'll get traded out by SLG, and SLG it'll be his turn to pick up the snipe.
Yeah, unless he was going to do one bullet, One hope, one dream, and it's gone.
And it's gone. Nice try. I saw the setup. We can't hit the shot for
We saw the vision. We saw the vision. But SLG not afraid to take up a little more ground here. Unfortunately, punished there.
Uh-oh. 3 dead. Let's get
now we're
Snipedrone.
going to see what Snipedrone can do. That's going to be
forward.
all 4 down. How soon can they grab the flag? Renegade, of course, flag leader here in Arlington. Going to continue that trend, moving this all the way across our sewer, not receiving too much pressure just yet, but gets it so far. He thrusts, he gets the pull, and perfectly dodges those grenades. I don't think anyone from Nemesis are gonna be there anytime soon. They just have to pick up 1 or 2 free kills. WuTum, last line of defense, but somehow Bound fell throughout this, and everyone from Nemesis is still alive. That's a bit worrisome.
This is risky.
This is trouble here for Optic.
Pulled as well.
What looked like a near guaranteed cap is now Glory returning. Counter cap being ran by Nemesis.
It's up to Bound. Where is Bound on the map right now? He's the last player, and he's, I believe, stalled this flag just a little bit. It is going up the tunnel. Bound still at the snipe. He goes down. He's the most progressed on the map. There's no chance they get here in time.
That OS is
Optic
holding the line.
will get counter capped on. It's Nemesis that clutch up and counter cap on Optic's opportunity to steal game 1 and show that they are here to play on Saturday night.
Nemesis may be Optic's kryptonite here. You know, Optic came into this event worried about all the top NA teams. They had their eyes set on Shopify. They were worried about SSG and FaZe. Little did they know, their biggest threats, Nemesis.
Nemesis. I mean, how chaotic did some of those situations get where both flags are getting pulled and you're having to weigh so many decisions in your head, Dave? When things like that are happening, it's pure chaos, and you almost just have to like patiently play the situation in front of you rather than big picture everything going on.
Also, just the perseverance from both sides. Let's take a quick look at one of these first polls here. Bound barely missing that one. That could have been that final 3rd cap, as it would have been added up later.
And we could talk about Bound's movement as we have been for the past 5 years, but that is a movement piece that he's going to want back. As that cap literally, I mean, centimeters away, like 2 steps maybe.
Also, I'm just so impressed by the perseverance from both these squads as the flag gets so close. I would say in the past season, when we were looking at Season 3 of Halo Infinite, as soon as that flag got towards the sewers, it was almost there scot-free. There was almost no team stopping that flag at the post. But here, almost every single flag, as it came back, even that final one, I was like, oh, this one's got to be a free flag here for Optic. No, Nemesis somehow stop it and get a counter pull.
It makes you wonder if Renegade had just gone for it, would they have been able to get the job done? But that little bit of hesitancy and the damage he takes while he's doing it from WuTum over by the plasma grenades immediately becomes a no in your head. If he gets it to the stand, does a respawner have an opportunity to just punch it in and say, not so fast, like this one's not getting as chaotic as the rest of this game has been? But something Optic can't dwell on.
No.
It's game. We're moving on to game 2. Nemesis does have the lead, and Optic has been here before, but it did not end well for Optic, so they need to rebound and do it quickly. Backs against the wall, and game 2 is going to be Recharge Slayer.
And you know, going into today, or say later in this afternoon, you know, one of Optic's wishes this event had to be
revenge.
Give us revenge. Give us Nemesis again.
Yes.
But be careful what you wish for. They are getting their wish. They get their chance to match them up again, but it is not the start that they want.
You mentioned it as we kick this series off, Dave. It's, yeah, Optic wants revenge, but in the heads of Nemesis, we bodied these guys earlier. Like, we're confident
They're
going
like, yeah,
into this.
this one, it would have been a 3-0. You're lucky it was a 3-1 because we had the restart.
I mean, I don't think anybody's asking to play Optic at this tournament knowing how great of a team they are. But Nemesis definitely felt more comfortable going into this series than they did probably the previous series.
Oh, for sure. Now that they've proven it on land, they went into that confidence. They hyped each other up. But to actually go and do the work and then say, all right, we walk the walk as well.
So the confidence is there, but a lot left to be determined here tonight as we get to game 2. Recharge Slayer loading up on your screen. And one thing I want to point out as this is going through, power weapon control wasn't a massive deal. It was about 50-50 snipes. The overshield felt like it was always going towards Nemesis, or at least
even when you saw it in the
80%.
hands of Optic, it felt like it just got melted. Remember that last one from Bound, which we thought was going to be the difference maker? We're like,
I thought it got comboed. I was like, that's not on this map. But I really want to see Optic hyper prioritize some of the power, the camouflage on this map, and use it to their advantage. You do not want to be giving Nemesis these kind of advantages being down in this series already. We're kicking this one off with the mouse and keyboard phenom WuTum to see if he can keep the ball rolling in Nemesis' favor here on Recharge Slayer.
And that first pick right there, both sides, Glory and Legend both going down. Camo's still available. It's going to go in hands of Formal. We've seen mixed results with Camo so far throughout HCS Arlington. We've seen different events in the past where it's been Camo's one of the most hunted items out there, and other times where Camo's super effective. Let's see what he can do when his team needs him most. Down by 1 kill. What's the opening that Formal can create?
Taking his time, not
pretty
engaging
passive.
too
I
quickly.
mean,
I'm okay with this.
you have a limit on time of Camo, but at this era of Halo Infinite, you're not getting multiple pushes with the Camo. You're getting 1 or 2 very good pushes. And there it is, Camo's out. He knows the player's weak at elevator. Opening has been created.
That was close, Formal. Still
They
got the job
kills at
done.
Pipe. They got a kill over at Needler or Turbine. So
One thing I wanted to say is, when Formal's playing that slow, something to keep an account for the viewers is Camo being alive, no matter if you're involved in the combat loop or not, terrifies the other team, limits the other team's opportunity and what they're going to do. As Formal goes down here, I think that that's a very important quality to keep, like, always, like, an ever-living strategy is, hey, staying alive with Camo is better than, like, rushing into a situation you don't want to be involved in. As we refocus back into the meantime, though, with Camo coming up in 30 seconds, Renegade trying to get going on this map, hasn't been able to find a kill just yet. It is very early, 8-5, and he finds 2 members of Nemesis and a combo in one of their hands as he tries to push into long haul. He gets taken down, and Nemesis' teamwork already starting to show here again.
yeah, it feels like in these neutral scenarios, they just have so many traps set up. They know where they're going to fight somebody.
God.
Glory on a killing spree, 5-1. His entire team dead right now. He's actually probably hoping they don't spawn with him at this moment. Want to get a little bit more spread out across this map.
Camo should be up right now. As both these two teams trying to fight for white control right now. Glory can't play his life, and a good job by Optic to get a couple of kills there. Formal with his second camo of the game, so you can tell already he's going to be one of the players prioritizing this to make sure they get those advantages here in game 2. Well done by him, but what can Formal do with this camo instead of the first?
Formal baiting out a couple grenades, also knowing that there's likely a death screen there. So not just going to charge right in towards bottom control and walk into a trap. Instead, traversing across the map, he knows that Legend was taken out over in the pipes. Does he want to engage over there? Does he want to choose a new fight? Looks like he's going to be behind enemy lines, especially with his teammates all getting taken down. Unfortunately, not able to do as much with that camo, but also at the same time, yes, you want your camo player to do a lot of work. You also need your teammates to play their role. They need to stay alive.
Exactly, like what was Formal supposed to do there? He loses 2 teammates, he can't just engage in combat, he's going to get traded out. And so Formal opts to just play it slow. They get the long haul spawns. How do they fight out of this long haul control? Because look at Nemesis pushing into long haul where the respawners from Optic were. They double team Formal, they double team his teammate, they trade out successfully, and that's a win for Nemesis once again. Now up 20-13, shock rifle in the hands of Glory, can't hit the player's top elevator, but the power weapon can do so much damage so quickly. He gets taken down, and a big kill and an opportunity to create some space from Legend there before he gets traded out.
Battling, taking on place over at the elevator. And while these kills are being traded out, it's still okay for both sides, but still benefits Nemesis that slight bit. Anytime you're in the lead, you're fine to trade things out, even though it's not as pivotal around this late teens, early 20 range.
Big kill by Renegade just to create some space and take over the elevator there. Now just a 4-kill game, and you could tell Nemesis in a very similar situation where Optic once were moments ago, stuck in long haul. How do they get out of it without going down and cutting into this deficit for Optic Gaming? They get a couple of players in pipes, but both those players receive a ton of damage, and Legend and Formal working together flawlessly, able to get that kill. Legend is going to get traded out, camo is up, and Renegade's going to have his shot with the camouflage, but you know Nemesis are looking for him. He's going to play this slow, get his shield back, and now how does Renegade successfully move up these stairs without being seen? Because he's being hunted right now. A teammate is with him. Unfortunately, Bound is going to go down, and he turns the corner into multiple Nemesis players. Phenomenal job by Nemesis to group up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a bit concerning here if you're an Optic fan, the fact that Optic has gotten 3 out of the last 3 camos, and they're still down by 6, so you have to wonder what's going to happen if and when Nemesis gets their hands on one of those power-ups.
And it's one of those power-ups, Camo is, that doesn't necessarily transition into advantages all the time, similar to that. Overshoot almost guarantees you just being able to soak some damage that you're going to get some kills. Not so fast with Camo. Still just a 3-kill game. Optic still slowly coming back in this game. A massive kill from WuTum. You being able to shoot the nades there, that was awesome to see the flick on the nades. WuTum at 14-1-7 has given Nemesis everything they need to have this 3-kill lead.
Yeah, 3-kill lead, but when there wasn't Camo on the board, maybe it's just showing that Optic saying, hey, we have to win this neutral game straight up, and they're able to close that gap. No longer is it a 6-kill lead, it's now only a 2-kill lead here for Nemesis.
Glory trying to find that pesky Bound player that was down here in the pipes, but Bound got out of dodge here, and now Glory, although he hunted him for a while, is going to find that kill onto Bound. Bound didn't expect anybody to be chasing them, and I like this by Glory. So much information being given by Glory here that, hey, Optic white is clear, so they got to be at elevator.
So much ground here taken up by Nemesis. Right now they have to know, all right, is Needler or Pipes unsafe? If not, Nemesis have a choice. They could actually collapse here towards elevator if they feel like they have the ground. WuTum, unfortunately, dying over there in Pipes. I know he's had a lot of good numbers here, but knowing that there's nobody near controlling or else, that's the only spot people are going to be fighting right now.
100%. Snipedrone actually going to be able to pick up the first Camo for Nemesis. Formal couldn't go for it because he was no shield, and now Snipedrone trying to stay alive with this camouflage. Actually does get to stay alive, and we'll see how Optic try to spot him out, and how much success is Snipedrone able to have. Can he teach us what a good Camo play is based off the poor performances we've seen, and all of a sudden he gets caught by Bound.
But during that time where Bound is stressing out the Camo call out, all other members of Optic are dying. All 4 go down. So you know Bound is yelling out that call, and they're saying, I don't care about Camo over at Needler right now.
Two guys
There's
in my
somebody
face.
meleeing me over at top elevator.
2 of them hit Pipes in the meantime. That's a successful way to use Camo, even if you just took Bound out of the play, because Lord knows he wanted to make an impact on his teammates' fights. It's a 6-kill lead now for Nemesis, and all of a sudden Optic's Gaming's opportunity to climb back, to make this deficit shorter and shorter, and actually try to win this game too. All the win conditions are starting to dwindle with their inability to trade successfully.
Yep, and we talked about trades not being really a big deal earlier when it was in the early 20s when SLG and the Nemesis squad were 20 kills. Here's the exact opposite. Every single trade here that Nemesis gets brings them closer to victory. They will happily hide around corners, do a few shots in melee, and trade out for the rest of this game.
Yeah, 41-35, still up 6, so a good job to get those 2 kills before you lose 2 others. WuTum trying to catch somebody, or SLG, I'm sorry, trying to catch someone off guard, bottom middle. 2 players of Optic are no shield right now, and they're both able to stay alive for the moment until Bound finally gets taken down by Snipedrone. And 42-37, a 5-kill lead. Dave, this is the moment where Optic Gaming have to step up and find ways to get kills that are unanswered.
This Camo's going to be the opportunity. Both teams will have some eyes on it. Can you use that as bait, secure a kill? I don't think anyone's just going to be able to sneak away with that Camo without some blood being shed first.
Bound flies out of elevator, finds the angle on the long haul. Great teamwork out of Optic across the map, maybe. They're able to have teamwork, but Glory responds with a massive double kill. Not only that, but able to get damage on the Legend, and Camo could be Glory's, and all the glory to him, as this camouflage is something Optic desperately wanted to have. Renegade hunting Glory down, but doesn't suspect him. It's going to be a free kill on the Renegade, you'd have to think. A trade, can anybody from Optic see where Glory is? No. He does jump onto the bridge, and gets naded to lose his life, but that kill onto Renegade pushes it to 46-42. Now all you need is 1 team win.
Still, they know Snipedrone's over towards blue tunnel. Gets taken out. Now only a 3-kill lead. Still substantial at this point in the game. But at any point, if Optic get 1 or 2 picks, they're going to go flying to try to roll that lead. They do get a pick on SLG. Do they go flying right here? Bound, weak at triple stacks.
Bounce caught out bottom middle, 1 shot. Is he able to stay alive? Glory tries to go after him, but Formal's got his back. Now it's just a 1-kill game. An overextension, a mistake. After a pick, do you decide to try and fly? Only 1 member of Nemesis goes, and because of it, Optic able to isolate those 2 and find the 2 kills unanswered. Exactly what the doctor ordered, but now it's WuTum with the shock rifle. And wow, what a massive moment for this young kid right now. Renegade finding a kill to make it an even game, and WuTum can't hit the first couple of shots.
And they're putting the pressure on. They don't want him to get sold at elevator.
Oh,
Renegade gets the grenade,
3
gets the
for
pick.
Optic,
It's
49-48. 49-48, Lqgend stuck in the back of blue. All of Optic should be spawning back here. Nemesis across the map. They will have Optic trapped in white and blue. Glory goes towards the elevator, clears it out, says they have to be white and blue. How do Optic Gaming play this situation? They will get trapped, and eventually they will have to make the play.
Was there any ammo left in that shock rifle? I know when we saw WuTum get taken out there, I don't know if it was the last bullet, but Optic.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. The cojones on this guy. A 49-48 game. Goes for it immediately.
But nobody from Optic's watching it. There's a camo player now. Everyone's got to be paranoid for Optic. SLG doing some sick jumps in the top white. The stairs. Formal's got to be no shield on the back of the stairs. Formal gets double naded. SLG, the jump, the double nade clutch, and Nemesis rip away the hopes of Optic Gaming, tying this series up for now and take the lead 2-0.
That play by SLG, let's review that for a second.
That
if he just
hard.
gets picked off right away from someone at C plat or triple stacks, we just look at him and we say, you just blew the game for your team.
Yeah.
You just blew the 1 kill lead you had. Instead, he realizes how Optic are gonna play this. Optic are not gonna go straight for that camo. They're not gonna fall for the bait. They're gonna try to set up a different defense. He grabs the camo and does the perfect route. He knows that top controls can be watched, but no one's watching the front jump to top control.
Yeah, and even if you do, you're not gonna 5 him before he throws those nades and, can drop out the front to safety either. A perfect play from SLG. That was unbelievable. And you got to question Optic's game plan there. Camo is coming up, and you're basically saying, screw it, we'll just give him camo?
You know, I don't hate it if they were focused on pushing another direction. Let's say you force a little action towards long haul, or force an action towards top catwalk or something. Try to catch someone else off guard on the perimeter of camo, and then you collapse on it. I think that's acceptable. But they didn't do either of those. They just hold up, they turtled up and says, hopefully one of us makes a good play.
A recipe for disaster, a strategy that will send you home on Saturday night. If you can't figure it out, in a reverse sweep fashion, it's going to be live fire strongholds. And in all honesty, Dave, this is a game type that I think Optic Gaming love to see coming into game 3. A bread and butter for players like Lqgend and Bound. And you need to find some momentum in this series. It feels like the clutch moments have gone to Nemesis so far. That's got to stop. You can't lose close games and expect to win the series, is a saying I used to have. And it's rearing its ugly head here. Optic Gaming have had every opportunity to have a 2-0 lead, and unfortunately, it has been Nemesis that have clutched up in back-to-back games to gain this advantage here in elimination bracket round 3.
Yeah, you can't let off the gas here in the 2025 HCS circuit. These players are just too good, and if you make one slight mistake, you're gonna lose games just in that fashion. You just barely missed that flag cap. You just missed that 1 kill in the Slayer. Those guys are pumped up, though.
Man, the
Nemesis.
adrenaline going on. I don't care how long today's been for these guys. That adrenaline, that's going to keep them up for at least 3 more games. I promise you that. They are feeling it, and just the decisions that's being thrown at their faces in these clutch moments, in these hectic, chaotic, close games, and the fact that we're seeing a team like Nemesis, they're not world champs. The world champs are on the other side of the stage. These guys are the ones making the better decisions, clutching up in the moments where the game is being decided. And that has got to tell you about the potential caliber of what we're looking at coming overseas from Europe and competing against the world's best in Optic Gaming.
You know, Lqgend right now, he's scratching his head right now. He has what they want to build as the God Squad here coming in the season.
You got your pick.
Got their pick, and he's fighting against his countrymen across seas over in Europe, and finds himself down 0-2. Gonna have to dig deep here in the rest of the series. This is far from over.
Oh, far from over.
We've seen how close those games are. We've seen how Renegade was playing earlier today on live fire. This could bring them right back in the series, get that momentum shift. But if you had to choose a spot to be in, I'm choosing Nemesis seat every single day of the week.
I'll take the 2-0 lead. You know what? That being said, I want to bring this back to Optic Gaming. When you look at this team, it's shooters, 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 gunners, 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 all-star, 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 all-star. But in a moment where you're down 2-0, Dave, someone's got to be that emotional leader. Someone's got to create some kind of motivation. Got to either through play or through vocalization or through just pure mentality, you got to figure out a way to uplift the entire team and get you to at least a game 5 to where you know you have an opportunity to win this series still. Who are you looking at on Optic Gaming to turn this ship around and to be that captain?
I mean, on any of those previous rosters, we're highlighting so many members on that squad. We're saying that has to be Legend, that has to be Bound, that has to be Renegade. Here, you got all 3 of those options on this choice. Same with Formal. People are always highlighting Formal as being that person that can pick it up and carry that squad. So they have 4 options. But like you said, who is going to that player? And I think they're all waiting on the comm saying, all right, one of you give us a motivational speech. Just say, stay alive, I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, and as much as I love Lunchbox, sometimes I think things have to come from one of the players. Is someone going to set an example, set a tone with their play here in Game 3 for Optic Gaming? We'll have to find out, and it's a beautiful night for Formal that'll give his team numbers advantage here early on. And we're hopping on board with Lqgend, and let's see what he can do. He's had a quiet series so far. Renegade with the snipe, however, is somebody I really want to see make a play.
Yeah, Renegade has the snipe ammo, but can't do much about green being captured. Now A and B under control for Nemesis. Gets a nice stop on that Camel Force grab. Luckily, also that Camel's still on top of the silo. So Snipedrone's gonna have to jump up if he wants to grab it. And it looks like Renegade says, all right, I'll take over this game if you have to choose someone.
It's my turn, Renegade says. Starting 3-0, Camo Snipe in the hill. Multiple members of Nemesis coming off respawn. They're all spawning green, and Renegade has his eyes on the prize, sights on the enemy, and he finds the first pick. Now Nemesis with a player down. One tries to jump in A, he gets double teamed. Renegade on a killing spree in the first minute of Game 3. Is Renegade gonna be the guy that sets the tone for the rest of this series for Optic Gaming?
He's hunting everyone down, knows that WuTum's there. He's got to be on what, 6 spree, making 7. Hits the no-scope, eventually taken down, but all 4 members down for Nemesis. Renegade has 7 kills, Nemesis has 6 kills combined.
Renegade starting off this Game 3 on a perfect note to give Optic Gaming the exact amount of energy they need to try to gain some motivation here, to try and get the ball spinning in their favor. Lqgend has a lot of responsibility here by himself on an island back green, trying to back down Snipedrone. As SLG got taken down, Snipedrone gets removed from the map as well. Great shots by Lqgend will allow Optic Gaming to keep B. You see Optic Gaming is going to be pushing C. Nemesis respawners, it's just SLG and A, and Lqgend has his eyes trying to set on this triple cap. Can't quite get there in time, but will get the kill, and they start to cap A as well.
Yeah, and they're keeping full control of this map right now. Looks like C's finally being flipped. Not a bad position for Nemesis to be in. Not an ideal one either, but they've at least stopped the bleeding without getting any more kills somehow. So WuTum finally putting a kill on the board, taking out Renegade, which if you had to choose one player to eliminate from the Optic roster, it's gotta be him right now.
Gotta be him, but Lqgend's starting to heat up himself. Ever since we've switched to his point of view, he's picked up 4 straight kills, been able to rotate all the way across the map, and he's not going down without taking SLG with him. A reset onto A will keep Optic scoring. Now 90-20. The second camouflage does go into the hands of Snipedrone, but the hands of Snipedrone go back into the death cam as Renegade able to get that kill, make sure that camo doesn't translate to anything. Multiple players of Nemesis now spawning green. The collapse comes through. Respawners getting fluctuated once again for Nemesis, and Optic Gaming are showing you why they believe Live Fire Stronghold is a game type that they can come back in this series.
Yeah, Snipedrone almost taking out 3 members there, trying to get his team back in this game, but it's got to be just a game of kills at this point for Nemesis. Yes, you have to stop the bleeding. Yes, you need to control the majority of the strongholds, but at some point you need the kills to give yourself some breathing room to do so.
Big push into A to get the reset. Not only does it take the kill on the SLG, the reset onto A will keep Optic Gaming scoring and will flip and stagger the respawners even more from Nemesis. Nemesis in a blender right now. Glory with the snipe, however, can in that blender turn it off maybe and find some footing for Nemesis. So far, they have been on the ropes and have been on the ropes for about 3 minutes now as the score climbs from 122 to 22.
And as the kill count keeps going up, it's always Renegade on pace with the entire team of Nemesis. 14 kills for Renegade, now 15 kills for Nemesis.
This is an angry Optic Gaming starting to wake up and find flow when they have map control and they stagger your respawns. They are the scariest team in the game, continuing to do so. A and C going to be the vision. Renegade can't quite get C. A big kill from WuTum. Can WuTum win the one-on-one to Bound? No, but he does get the reset onto C. So it will be Nemesis scoring with the B-A capture as Optic Gaming try to get back into C, transfer it over. They're not going to have a trip cap to work with, Nemesis is, but they are going to have some space.
This Lqgend helping collapse on B. Like you said, they got the dub cap, but the kills just still going so heavily in Nemesis's favor. And I don't really have a good recipe or formula for this sometimes, because stronghold games go too quick. At some point, you can't just say, hey, we need to slow it down a ton. The game just spirals out of control and points go too far away. It really does rely on a lot of great individual efforts on just getting kills, putting out more damage before you die, and hoping your teammates pick up the rest.
Yeah, fortunately, you're not in a trip cap if you're Nemesis, but you can't even get on the ground, it feels like. You spent more time in the respawn screen than you have on the actual map itself. A and B hold for Optic Gaming. Lqgend wins a big one-on-one in the tunnels. It's perfect shots as Lqgend starts to heat up once again.
And here's your daily reminder that Renegade has 20 kills and all of Nemesis has 20 kills. Keeping on pace with the entire team this entire game.
We'll come back for another stat update here in about 30 seconds. Formal, continuing the pressure on the tower. You see the recipe from Optic. They do not want you to cap the stronghold you spawn at. They are going to pressure you off your spawn, and perfect shots from everyone now on Optic Gaming. Bound has found himself the camo. When it rains, it pours, and it's raining terror on Livefire.
Somehow, despite all these kills, you're seeing two strongholds flip on over towards Nemesis as soon as they get a couple kills on the board. They found this camo in the form of Bound. And Bound trades it out with the stick onto Snipedrone. So
I asked who it was going to be that stepped up from Optic Gaming. So far, every single player is making plays. This is the green wall that needs to show up if they plan to reverse sweep this Nemesis team. It's only game 3. We got a lot of game to go. It's not even over yet, but signs from Optic in their individual fights have got to be the best feeling you have had as a fan throughout this series so far.
Yeah, Renegade just unrelenting so far. He's going to try to stop this bleeding now. This is one of the first chances we've really seen of Nemesis kind of step back into it, but they did have 2 deaths just momentarily, so you'll see all those strongholds flip back towards Optic. So even though it was a temporary trip cap, you didn't really see the benefit of it. You didn't really see a 40, 80-point run, anything like that. In fact, it was shut down within about 5 to 15 points.
181 and climbing now. Optic Gaming score. There's multiple players trying to push into B from Nemesis right now. Formal and Bound are going to be back B. Formal hitting that body shot, taking out one of the players from Nemesis, trying to push into B. It's going to be last guy alive, taken down. I believe that was Snipedrone as all of Nemesis starting to come off respawn. This double cap for Optic Gaming stays strong, and when they cross the 200 point mark here, Nemesis will have they'll have no time to try and formulate a strategy. They will just have to try and hope and pray that they can fly into a stronghold and stop time.
Yeah, and you also notice Optic not forcing the trip caps right now. I like this play. They got their hot start that they needed. They got off to a big lead.
There's the hope.
And now you
There's
can let Nemesis make some mistakes and walk into your traps.
The hope and the pray aren't working very well as they go 3 down once again, and Optic Gaming look like this game 3 is all but theirs with just 30 points to go.
Now looking like Optic might go for the temp trip cap, or at least the flip, since Nemesis are spawning over at C.
Enemy team nearing victory.
Just the bait setup right here, knowing that somebody's coming through our garage, so I like this play by Lqgend, just get as much info as possible, and then he's gonna bait this for a little bit, try to find out where this player exactly is, and then contest it. Unfortunately, WuTum is having perfect positioning. Not even knowing he was there until the contest happened.
Yeah, it's just unlucky for Lqgend that player happened to be the sniper.
Scoped it out perfectly, checked out the mid side, checked the left side. It's like, all right, I got contested now unless I'm letting them actually flip this stronghold.
You definitely don't want them to flip that, but unfortunately WuTum, I think, had maybe 1 bullet left in that sniper, as it seems to be empty now, and that 1 bullet put into Lqgend's dome, but still, so much of a comfortable lead here we have for Optic Gaming as they are already transferring B back in their favor. That kill doesn't amount to much, and Optic Gaming will start to score once again with the BC hold.
I like this rotation for WuTum, but it has to be near perfect halo here soon. That's gonna be 2 members down, and I don't know how Nemesis can really pull this one back. They have 3 members down. This last person alive has to not only hold on to the stronghold they have, but convert another. That's gonna be trip cap.
Optic Gaming, over the break between game 2 and 3, they have woken up and they have showed up. That was the most impressive game that they have had so far throughout this series. Individuals winning every single pivot, felt like, and it really was Renegade that set the tone to kick that one off, starting with the killing spree. Almost had as many kills as the team as Nemesis did throughout about half of that game. Eventually you expect Nemesis to surpass that, but just setting the tone with gameplay alone, they needed everything from Renegade, and they got everything that game.
Yeah, Renegade was doing it all. 5 defensive kills. I was looking at the stat screen. Obviously, most kills, second least deaths. Just doing such an impressive play.
Just 1 assist.
Just 1 assist, but we got actually, yeah. You know, I'll allow that. If you're going most kills or you have tied
you got,
kills in the opposing team, you can only have 1 assist.
You got 26 and 10 and you have 1 assist. I won't be too upset, but we'll just ask for some more teamwork next game. I want to get the 26 kills.
But, Wes, more importantly, we got ourselves a series. This is what we wanted.
All right, here we go.
I didn't want 3-0 either way.
Optic waking up here. That's what we needed to see. Optic is here to play. They will not go silently in the night. Definitely not in their own venue, at their own hosted major to kick this year off. Expectations of trophies and only trophies is what Optic Gaming was put together to do. And they will still be able to compete at least for one more game. That's all you're asking yourself. That's all you're telling yourself on that side. Aquarius Assault is going to be the name of the game for Game 4. And we've seen Optic have success on this map mode combination, so you got to be honestly just brushing your hands together, ready to get started the way that Game 3 went if you're an Optic Gaming member.
On the flip side, if you're a Nemesis fan, you're thinking, all right, Aquarius Assault, this game's gonna go the distance. It's likely gonna go the 12 minutes. It's generally a longer game mode. Teams, when they get some leads, are gonna try to slay out. So they have a chance to try to get some, you know, breathing exercises in after that panic attack over on Stronghold's live fire. It just was so quick, they didn't really have much time to get their own grounding, get their own rhythm. Here on Aquarius, both teams will have opportunities where they're ahead or where they're behind, and so they get a chance to flex their own muscles, flex their own strats, and try to play at a pace that's more comfortable for them.
Now, something we talked about throughout this weekend, Neutral Bomb Assault being newly added as a new mode into the HCS competitive settings for this year. One of the more methodical game types we have in the scene. A lot of thought process needs to go into where is the bomb, when am I grabbing this, when am I throwing this in, when am I arming it, when am I dropping it to slay. Which team do you think that favors so far from what we've seen leading up to this in this series?
Man, that's a great question, because I also feel like Forbidden's also one of those maps where it's you got to grab that flag at the right time.
A lot of decisions were being made during
or
that
a lot
game.
of decisions, you know, leading up to when you're getting setups and control. However, I did feel like also in that CTF Forbidden, the majority of Nemesis caps came as counter caps. So if it came down to which team was setting up more and doing a setup from scratch or from neutral ground, it was Optic. So maybe I'd give them the leverage there, give them the advantage there. This one's just too close to call. I just felt like almost that Game 3 is more of an anomaly with how much Optic stepped up. So we're gonna have to see have that same slaying prowess here in game number 4.
We're gonna take the power weapons and we're gonna throw them off the map for a second, because Aquarius is a Bandit VR predominant map with just a camouflage up top in the middle. So it's gonna be Bandits out and Renegade starting to do work with his already, kicking it on board with him to start this game. He's already found 2 kills, 3 go down for Nemesis. It will be the first camouflage of the game going into Renegade's hands.
Yeah, Renegade's gonna grab that. Now, I've seen a lot of teams put the bomb in the bomb in the camo player's hands in many cases as they bring that bomb up. We're gonna have to see if Optic decide to do that. It seems like they're opting to have Renegade just get some slays, and there's the first back smack, making another double for Renegade.
Easy double for Renegade, patiently plays his life. It's gonna be a couple of members of Optic here to play around Renegade. Bound's gonna be in the base, and it's a killing spree once again to kick off Game 4. So he does it in Game 3, he does it again in Game 4, setting the tone with his gameplay alone. Nemesis starting to overextend. The bomb is in your base, and Optic Gaming will take a 1-0 lead here very early into this game. You said it was gonna be a 12-minute game. Well, Optic Gaming have their eyes set on Game 5, and they wanna get there as soon as possible. They armed the bomb in the first minute.
Yeah, I mean, we start off the last game talking about how Renegade was even in slays. How about Renegade having twice as many kills as Nemesis to start off this one?
He's one-upping his own stats at this point. Renegade, the man, the myth, the legend, the world champion, and looking to try and claim at least another Championship Sunday visit. You would have to think a Championship Sunday includes the likes of Renegade.
When's the last Championship Sunday he wasn't a part of? That's a good question for me.
I'm not answering that one. I'm not at the source, Dave. But it's been a while, it feels. Renegade now still alive, still being a nuisance. Yeah, he left the enemy base, but he's controlling the objective here. Nobody's moving that bomb without Renegade saying something about it. He's gonna have the plasma missile in hand. And spots 2 with the location sensor here. Multiple players getting knocked to no shield, and these guys can't kill Renegade to save their lives. He's a problem on the map. He baits, switches, plays his life. That bomb's still in the utility of Nemesis. 3 go down, and this is another opportunity for Optic Gaming to potentially play perfect Halo once again and get a second arm early on. And Renegade cycling the first and second camo with the same life. I can't really say the last time I've seen that either.
Yeah, just doing a great job controlling these this entire time. But looks like they did get touched on the bomb and bring it in. But at this point, when it's on that jet bridge, they're going to be able to toss it off. More importantly, who's getting these slays? If Optic get these slays, they're in perfect position to arm the second bomb. There's going to be one of the first picks, but this pressure over from Pink trying to take out Renegade. He's finally down.
He finally goes down, but at what cost? Multiple members of Nemesis are stuck their back bridge. Lqgend's able to find an assist onto one and also stay alive. That bomb's still at Nemesis' base, so each kill that goes down at Nemesis' side makes it even more of a high-pressure situation for the rest of the team that's alive. They get a touch on the bomb so it doesn't reset. The last player for Optic Gaming that's in the util finally flushed out, and Nemesis maybe can breathe for the first time this game.
Honestly, even moving that bomb a little bit towards the Optic base, so they might have their first shot at it, but it is going to rely on these kills to start it off.
Big kill on the Formal, clears out all of Optic's base. They're going to force the pink spawns. This is exactly the strategy you want, but however, you see Lqgend's going to be all the way across the map, still flanking around the utility. Bound somehow doing God's work in the closet, and it's not even Easter Sunday yet.
I don't know how. First off, he got that kill. Great melee and great finish off there by Bound. But secondly, a little bit of, I guess, questioning strategy there from Nemesis. A lot of times you want them spawning over towards Fridge. Sure, you want to finish off the kills when they're weak, but you almost want a player to spawn there even after full shield.
100%. I would never have pushed that, I don't think. And Nemesis is probably regretting that decision, especially after Bound put you on a highlight reel right there. The camouflage is going to be coming up here in a second. And it does look like Nemesis finally have an opportunity for some map control here. Formal's going to be competing for bottom middle right now. I don't know if anyone from Nemesis is even near that camo, but they are going to have a numbers advantage as Renegade goes down. Multiple members of Optics spotted by Snipedrone, taken down the no shield by Snipedrone, and that should be Nemesis being able to approach the map. Yes, it's SLG with the camouflage.
Camo, but what's he going to do with it? Seems like he's just going to get spotted out right away. Needs to take up some more ground. But all these members of Nemesis, look at their positions. They're all low on the ground besides someone up high at their base. They need to use this to get some higher position. Get over towards top pink, get towards top car. And there it is. We now have top car and top center in control for Nemesis.
3 dead and Renegade was spotted pink 1. Are they able to flush out Renegade? Renegade goes back to the base. First one spotted going up the pink stairs. You should know, based off the name of that player that you saw, that that was Renegade. The bomb guy is going to get naded before it can go in. Optic members are trying to slide to get that bomb out. Three Optic members go down. Last player alive is on the fight, but SLG, trying to fight up the back stairs, takes the route that allows Optic to throw that bomb out. So that bomb arm should have happened, but grenades thrown from the heavens have taken him down, and because they get that kill on the bomb carrier, they buy enough time to get that bomb thrown out, and what should have been an arm for Nemesis keeps this game a 1-0 lead for Optic.
That was great defense by Optic, and like you said, this should be a tie game at this point based on those positions, how many people they had weak there. Bound, they don't have control of the base, so he's just going for whatever kills, whatever control he can get right now. Misses the melee and gets taken out by SLG.
3 dead for Optic, Formal, last player alive on the map. Bomb, not too much to worry about right now. Still just in your courtyard, not in your base, so you will have an opportunity to respawn. SLG is actually going to block pink corner. This is important. All members of Optic will be stuck in their base. Can Nemesis find a way to successfully get these kills without trading out?
Well, they know nobody's pushed out pink side, so anyone over on that car side right now is playing very cautiously. They're not trying to force in because they know they're likely walking into an outnumbered position.
The first kill comes through, but it is traded out. Renegade able to try and create some space. His teammates able to find some kills car side of the map.
That grenade from courtyard towards the front pillars of the base.
I don't have that in my artillery yet.
That one, I haven't unlocked that skill just yet.
I'm kind of just whipping it off the ceiling, praying. Formal was able to get the camo, but it's negated immediately. A good job, however. I mean, we talked about the stressful situation Optic were just in. They decided to push out car side. Renegade might have died, but the damage he dealt on car side of the map allowed his teammates to follow up and create space, which was so much needed. That denied a real opportunity for Nemesis to get the bomb in the base. Good defense by Optic, keeps them with the lead. 5.5 minutes on the clock could be important here as we continue on.
Gosh, Renegade's speed at which he plays the game is so incredible. The fact that he's able to run away when he's supposed to, turn around, retarget switch, finish off that player he originally weakened, is just such a work of art to watch.
Glory behind enemy lines. They're going to know he's here based off of death cam, you'd have to think. And a lot of Optic Gaming's progressed on the map right now. There's one respawning. is going to probably try and look for Glory, but Glory trying to come all the way back. It's eventually flanked by that respawner, and because of it, he's caught off guard. He does get a melee onto him, but a good job to get Glory out of your base to stop blocking those spawns. It's now Snipedrone's job to try and block some of those spawns, but somehow Bound got to car 2 being unseen, and with that kill, it denies any timing Nemesis would have had with the numbers advantage they just had.
Yeah, you gotta wonder when you get those long flanks, it has to pay out in the end. And you start to see him kind of push a little too fast. Or if you're taking those quick routes, I feel like you should be taking those quick routes through lower gen or through car 2 if you know somebody's already there or they're weak. But it felt like he was kind of panicking, trying to rush and help his teammates as fast as possible without all the correct info.
Renegade getting some space on the map here. Bomb is going to be on his side, but with multiple members of Nemesis coming off respawn, Renegade's just trying to apply some pressure. He knows the time is on his side. A win condition for Optic. A double kill opens up what is potentially a game-changing arm. To make this a 2-0 lead would be massive for Optic Gaming. WuTum has snuck away with the camo, made it into the util, however. And Optic Gaming, 3-man car side, just light WuTum up like a firework, and he goes down. Camo gets burned. This bomb gets moved just barely before it gets taken down. 3 dead, 4 dead, and Optic Gaming are going to force ping spawns. The first player is up. It's WuTum, but what can he do about this arm?
WuTum somehow takes out Renegade, but this bomb is arming, and I don't know if anyone's from Nemesis.
Oh my God, they jumped in the window.
2 members down. Can they get the one more trade? They do get the trade. That is huge for Nemesis. In fact, they almost made their last mistake last time, just tossed in the courtyard. My guess is they're going to leave it in the back of their base and try and play some defense. But that could be disastrous right there.
Yeah,
Renegade trying to push in and get a touch.
No chance we're letting this, like, we're waiting for this bomb to reset.
They've already committed? No?
They threw it to the stairs, but that's not out the window, and Optic are picking up kills. We didn't get that bomb out of our base. Are you kidding me? 3 down for Nemesis. Last player alive, I believe, is still top the base. Now he's trying to throw it out, but oh my God, he goes down. The players are starting to spawn pink again, and Optic Gaming have a realistic chance of trying to get another arm.
That was a weird half commit to me. I felt like the bomb in the back of the base with only 10 seconds left, you can play some defense, stop one more touch, and let it reset in the center of the map. But it felt like they kind of half committed. After there's some pressure from Renegade, they tried to toss it down the stairs towards the shroom stairs.
They're playing with fire, and right now they are getting burned. Bomb still on their side of the map, 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. Bound still in your face, still jiggling, still wiggling. Eventually is going to eat every single nade from the respawners, and he gets taken down, but the bomb is not progressing at all. Nemesis are having such a hard time not only dealing with the slays, the pressure from Optic, but also juggling the objective anywhere away from their base to where they're not in an all-time threat at every single moment of the game.
Yeah, a few times that we have seen Nemesis moving across the neutral part of the map, they're getting picked off and paying with their lives. It's such a disaster when you try to move that bomb across and you give them that first free death.
3 down for Optic. Nemesis is going to have 3 on the map. Bomb is bottom middle currently. Lqgend behind enemy lines once again. I love this play by him. We've seen this so often throughout this weekend where Lqgend gets into the enemy util, CTF, assault, whatever it may be, and he wreaks havoc in these moments. What can he get for us? As he jumps out of the car, he goes unnoticed, goes unspotted. WuTum or SLG not going to expect him here, and that ruins everything Nemesis tried to point.
Also just the repositioning. Lqgend isn't a static target. He's not just going to sit over in the gen. He pushes out towards the front, hides over towards one of the jump ups. Just playing so difficult that entire time. So if they send anyone to go look for him, they're wasting time. They're sometimes not finding that target. Sometimes Lqgend shooting one of the other teammates.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you have the right timing, Lqgend still creating chaos throughout this game. Knows that you don't need the arm. The arm would be great though. 3 go down. WuTum last player alive. He's in the back flag. Teammates starting to fight him. He's going to get some solid damage off to not try and arm this. They're going to deal with WuTum first. Respawners are going to be coming pink side. One maybe doing the front jump. Lqgend trying to get to another player behind the pillar in their base. And that arm, I mean, there's a minute remaining. You're not worried about this bomb. You are slaying from here on out if you're Optic.
Love that play by Optic. They don't overcommit. They don't get themselves in a position where there's 3 down. Instead, they bait the bomb. They realize Nemesis can't afford to lose another arm, but at the same time, just buying time, getting slay after slay.
A bit of a ninja there, Renegade, getting that kill, but mostly that's not a trade for Glory, and because of it, I mean, look at this. Nemesis can't get off their spawn. You saw WuTum trying to juggle the bomb across the map, but with 30 seconds left, you got to figure something out.
My
And
God.
there's nothing to figure out. Renegade is going crazy.
Nowhere is safe. Nemesis' only chance right now
I
is
don't feel
to
safe.
forego their base, just push across those bombs, see if they can miraculous charge, but you have to get that bomb in the circle these next 10 seconds. I think we're looking at Game 5 Street Slayer, Wes.
I feel like we've been looking at a Game 5 for the last 10 minutes the way Optic is playing, maybe even since Game 3. Optic Gaming on the back of Renegade and Bound, both with a 30 bomb in Game 4. Will put this team one game away from a championship Sunday, and now all of a sudden, Nemesis' 2-0 lead in this series, washed, removed, irrelevant. It's 2-2. We're going to a Game 5 Saturday night.
Wes, you asked who from Optic need to step up. We said that anyone from that roster has that ability, but I fear that it's been Renegade and Bound both raising their hands and saying, I'll do it.
I feel like it's been just about everybody on this team. Every single point of view we go to, Dave, somebody is making a play. Everybody I don't know what clicked in between games 1 and 2 and game 3, but everybody is winning their pivs. Everyone is getting the job done from their point of view, handling the situations they are given. I mean, but 30 and 13 is downright disgusting. Renegade has got to be the most positive player in this series. Those stats are absolutely bonkers, and he has found his flow. And then to have someone like Bound join you along the way as your duo, 31, 20, and 12. I mean, these kids are special. They're getting hot at the right time. They're getting hot at the last chance they have to get a championship Sunday underway for them tomorrow, and they are 50 kills away from doing so.
50 kills separating one team from bed and one team from Sunday dreams. We're gonna have to find out here after this little bit. I know some players taking a bathroom break. Icing, strategic ice.
I'd be taking a mental reset right now if I'm on the side of Nemesis. Not to harp on him too much, but
those games 1 and 2 looked vastly different from game 3 and 4.
Yeah, even from the series yesterday or this morning, like there's individual fights that are just being dominated on the side of Optic, and in all honesty, it's like not a ton of missed shots or anything. It's just Optic Gaming are making plays. The nades are perfect, the movement is perfect, everything just feels right. Their positioning, Optic Gaming have found their flow here in this series, and you wondered if they were going to show up. Well, they showed up big time the last 2 games, 250 to 80 live fire strongholds. Aquarius Assault might have been 1-0, but it was an absolute dominant showing from Optic Gaming. They could have had several arms, but they had several kills instead. And with that, we transition over to Street Slayer for Game 5, Dave. And I think something we called out early in this series, it felt like the power-ups were really going towards Nemesis and a lot of the success. Since then, I feel like the power weapons, the power-ups have all gone towards Optic. The name of the game is gain the advantages from the sandbox and use them to create opportunity for yourselves. Street Slayer is going to have a camouflage and a red gun on it that are seen as those power items. Go.
Yeah, I was going to say, the one thing that I think Nemesis can try to bank on, or hope that goes better here in this Game 5, is when I look at Games 3 and 4, I saw Renegade charge without fear, without repercussions. It's not Slayer. You can't just go die and not have any repercussions from that. But I could feel in this Game 5, you're not going to see that exact same pace exactly out of Bound and Renegade when there's not any openings or not an advantage game. So some of those neutral scenarios, which we saw Nemesis really thrive in those situations on recharges. They slowed it down, set up a trap, get that first kill, and then push on out. I could see that being beneficial, but if the pace of this game picks up, Optic gets some sort of lead, and they're charging across the map, we could have a quick Slayer Streets on our hands.
If you're Optic Gaming going into this Game 5, are you trying to push the pace immediately, or is this going to be one of those famous Street Slayers that we have seen across the last 3 years that turns into a snail's pace, that turns into a game of information and strategy? And if so, do you believe that Optic has what it takes to cook something up successfully? Because I feel like the only stalemate situation we've really seen was at the very end of that recharge game, and I couldn't be any more disgusted with the strategy that I think Optic tried to pursue, letting the camo go and turtling into white. I think that was a recipe for disaster. I do not want to see that same Optic Gaming decision-making in a similar situation here on Streets.
I mean, I think you have to figure out something in between there. There's a difference between turtling up and just going all out and charging and forcing action. When I saw a lot of this action being created during those last couple games from the likes of Renegade and Bound, It wasn't forcing. It was taking great opportunities.
For good reason.
Yes, it was good reason, but it wasn't a do or die situation. They'd put themselves in an opportunity where they could back away from that fight if they'd like. I see forcing a lot of times saying, hey, we're just gonna go charge around this corner and see what happens. Instead, I saw Renegade and crew doing a lot of information gathering, making smart choices, and then when it came down to a just straight up fight, just straight up winning.
Is there someone on Nemesis now that we're looking to step up? Losing the last 2 games has got to be heartbreaking, but you are still in this series. You still have an opportunity to punch your ticket to Championship Sunday. It's been pretty quiet on their side for a couple of games entirely across the board. Who are you looking at from Nemesis to get their team going early in this game?
I would say Snipedrone. I think Snipedrone's been a little quieter than we've seen. There's been some of those games where, yes, Renegade and crew are going off, but I've seen Snipedrone start some games 0-3, 0-5, and getting some slower starts. So I'm not saying he has to just go off and go on a killing spree or go on a killing frenzy, but he cannot have that slow start. He needs to be that leader on his roster. Secure a couple kills, keep his team in this game.
Moments away from getting this Game 5 started. Arlington, Texas, Saturday night, Game 5. Optic Gaming versus Nemesis. The revenge match that we've all been waiting for since early this morning, and a little bit of yesterday before the power went out. 50 kills will decide whether or not the green wall will move on, or will Nemesis, the European dream team, get an opportunity to place the highest mouse keyboard player in the history of Halo. That notch goes from top 6 to potentially top 4 with the next 50 kills. There will be celebration and there will be tears on one side of the stage each. Who are you favoring, Dave? I gotta ask.
Oh my gosh, it's hard not to go with Optic based on this momentum and how these last couple games went. If I had seen 2 very close games back and forth, I would say, you know what, Nemesis, they were able to clutch it up and ice up in the last Slayer. Let's see him do it again. But those last 2 games were absolutely dominating.
Everything you got, 50 kills. Can you be great? 8 players in the server, and I guarantee you there's going to be one shining moment in this game made by an individual that we'll be talking about for the rest of the weekend and moving on for the rest of the season. Green Wall, if you're out there, Nemesis fans, if you're out there, let's get this crowd going, because these 50 kills mean everything to these players, and this energy is about to get wild here in Game 5. I want to start this game off with Renegade, Dave. The way that he is playing right now, he is a man on a mission with something to prove, with a team on his back, that he made the right decision. Let's see it, let's believe it, and let's put the game in his hands from our perspective.
And one thing we were talking about earlier is we saw Optic win one of their earlier series. We said, you're not seeing smiles right now, they're just working out business, and Renegade gets taken down by Snipedrone immediately. What can the rest of Optic do to bring them back into this? Because this game is already off to a good start here for Nemesis with only 1 kill.
It's a 2-kill lead. Now Snipedrone's stuck, bottom spike stairs, able to take down Formal. They're gonna know where Snipedrone is. He's gonna get out of dodge. Camo will be coming up here shortly. I believe it's still up. And right now, the battle for Camo is going to be won by Nemesis. Glory gets the Camo. Can he get out of there is the question. Players from Optic trying to hunt him down. You see him taking damage. He needs to get his shield back. They're pushing this cafe. Glory choosing not to shoot at the first player. The second player, the teamwork from Nemesis, strong early on, will give them a 3-kill lead.
And all those members of Optic pushed away from Tram. They didn't want to be stuck there, and they felt like they had the numbers and the advantage to push on this charge. I don't think they realized that Glory got away from that camo initially.
As this game kicks off and Glory's camo runs out, I want to go into an Optic Gaming listen-in and hear the stress and the comms of the emotions of these players in this Game 5.
Cyber. You guys back to PD. Remember. Like that PJ. Watch out PD on me. Watch the center, watch the center. Watch the PD, watch the B. Center. Back. One guy shutting, one guy shutting. Shutting, watch out. One PD, one PD. Watch the shot. Watch out, watch out. One shot. Here. Watch out, base. Laundry right now. Laundry. Guys, stairs, I think, jump, first. Top heavy. Two guys heavy. Two guys weak heavy. Sit there. I can't pick, we got shitty. Yeah, on me. Can't pick. He's weak, weak mana. Push him. Watch out for me. One guy was agent, watch out. I don't know where he went. They team me.
One shot down. One's on camera now.
He didn't burn, man. Yo, watch out for
Not bad.
One Good shit. No, I'm with you.
Michael bottom seat. What's his name?
Yeah, he could be red room or something, guys. I need it. That's fine.
We should be safe.
Look my real quick. Wait, my butt.
I'll look at B.
One can be red room.
Somewhere main room.
One is be real.
Red. Arcade one. You guys here. One push. There's two tires. Nice rid.
Go back. What's
Yo, purple weak, bounce.
Agent.
We're here.
Agent.
Absolute.
PD maybe.
He's tires.
Jump back up. Tires to square.
Okay, see.
One shot tires.
Okay, get going. Spikes. It's all Letting benches. Watch your B-stairs.
B-stairs still sober.
Watch it. Commander. We commander.
One more behind us.
Yeah, they can spawn behind us. We cannot go.
Back. Ivy. My spike.
Fancy going. B-steps. Watch B-steps. I can't kill this guy. Game was a 15, guys. Watch B-steps. Just specs. Nice bound.
Look tires.
Yo, B-steps. Yeah, two B-steps. Two tires. They went tires. Nice bound. No one tires. Agent. Watch your guys bound. Watch over bound. Agent, skimming. I'm pushing football.
Red bar Chinese.
Bench.
Mine's three.
Okay, so live. Watch agent. I have you.
I'm trying to make SG one shot. Absolutely.
I can't really have Yeah, double back. We're pushing main right now. Nice. I'm looking cafe.
Back in.
Pushing back.
Okay, guys, back away.
Watch out for me.
Dead. Plants.
3 plants.
3 points.
Check your corner.
Take B-stairs. One can be arcade.
Okay, we're okay.
B-stairs.
This game is on a knife's edge. 26 all as we cross the 25 halfway mark here. Optic Gaming start to get the ball rolling. The teamwork starts to come through. You hear the energy. The niceness coming from them. And what an unbelievable push that was for Optic to get back in this.
Yeah, great pushes from both sides. Great individual plays. However, I did hear quite a bit of panic and uncertainty sometimes in Optic's voice. When they're pinned at tram, they're saying, there's got to be someone in red room. Yes, there was before, but feels like they're relying on each other so much, saying, you need to watch this, you need to watch this. Whereas I feel like the times that they've been playing their best is when you let those players unchained. You let someone like Bound and Renegade go out and do what they do best.
Yeah, the emotion says that this is a very nervous moment for them right now. You do not want to be in game 5 with Nemesis, as this game still 3 kills separate the two, and this red gun's continued to do damage as you see multiple players getting taken down now for Nemesis. Red gun removed, and Renegade busts down the door of Nemesis here, and they're set up towards Tram as he finds a double kill. He's able to find the red gun. Can he stay alive with this? Is a dangerous fight to try and take their shield down. WuTum does get caught mid-sprint. In the meantime, Optic Gaming picking up a couple of kills off screen. 37-30, camouflage now in Optic's hands. Everything starting to go right for the green wall.
Starting to click for them. I was saying before, Wes, that you weren't seeing smiles if Optic were winning series earlier because they weren't where they need to be. However, I feel like we might see a different story here if Optic can pull this one out.
You're going to see a lot of smiles in the crowd at the very least, but 3 members holding Formal as he takes the first shot with that red gun. Somehow gets out of there with his life, not to completely no shield. They do take down Bound, so they create a little bit of space here, but Formal still with camo in the heavens, trying to knock down a couple players' shields. Eventually his camo does run out, but this red gun's starting to do a lot of damage. Where's the cleanup? It's, of course, it's here. It's in the hands of Renegade. He finds a double in the kill feed, and Formal doing everything he can to deal damage, stay alive, play alive, and 41-31, Optic Gaming starting to roll ever since it was tied 26-all.
Just falling apart there for Nemesis. You saw Formal play that so well with that camo, dealing damage, ducking down, taking up so much time and attention from Nemesis. They're not able to find him that entire time, and the rest of Optic collapses in and closes out the kills.
Renegade trying to push into Tram, does eat the predictive nade. You gotta be careful here, Optic. You do not want to give up a bunch of extra kills, but the pressure is on, and no one deals pressure better than Bound in Halo Infinite. Bound finds himself a double, and now 4 kills away is Optic Gaming from a Championship Sunday opportunity.
Right there, shot caller gets the double. Is he gonna get a triple? 1 kill separating Optic from Championship Sunday, and Lqgend and crew are chirping for good reasons. They pull off the reverse sweep, and Optic punched their ticket to Sunday and got top 4.
You wondered who was gonna step up, who was gonna start making plays. Well, it was everybody on the left side of the stage. The green wall stands strong and will punch their ticket to Championship Sunday. Will be able to compete for a championship at their home-hosted major. And man, were they battle-tested here today. Nemesis gave them everything they could. But Optic Gaming woke up in the middle of this series, Dave, and when they woke up, they were a problem to deal with.
2 close games earlier that Optic were not able to close out. Turned to them having to step it up and play out of their minds.
You talk about that game 5, Dave, 26-all. It's anybody's taking. We leave the listening, and I'm not feeling too good about what I heard. I'm hearing a little bit of panic, a little bit of like hesitancy, a little bit of worry, but something clicked. There was one moment. They push into Tram, they get unanswered kills.
We finally see smiles from Optic. I saw Lqgend smile, and all the other wins I saw earlier, there were not many smiles.
Well, this one means a little something to him.
You didn't see that around Infamous. You saw it tonight, though.
This is a personal one with him, of course, leaving a couple of players, and obviously the European's best is something that he considers himself, not the team he's playing against. So this one was a little personal, especially when you lose to him earlier in the day. You want revenge, especially on the side of Lqgend, but a sigh of relief from Formal. Jesus Christ, guys, let's not do that again, I think is going through his head. Game 5. Everybody doing their part. Bound leading the way, 15, 10, and 5. That triple kill at the end, just a punctuation on this is over. I'm done with you guys. Go home. I've got plenty of sleep I need to get for tomorrow. We have big expectations if you didn't know. The fans are all chanting for us. We can't lose this game.
No, putting themselves as deep in the elimination bracket as they possibly can, and
it's like
series by series, game by game, clawing their way out.
It's like a Disney movie. When you just replace one of them with Air Bud. Air Bud goes to the losers bracket. They come all the way through, and I mean, Nemesis, hats off to them, the tournament that they've had, going up against what we consider to be a God squad, one of the best teams in North America, one of the best teams in the world, world championships, everybody on the roster. You gave them everything that they could handle. And you come up short, yeah, especially kicking yourself with the 2-0 lead, but no reason to hang your head because you showed the world that you can play with the best of the best.
Yeah, if anyone was overlooking Nemesis before, I guarantee that will not be the case for the second tournament of the HCS circuit.
Yeah, you do not want them in your pool.
Commiserations to Nemesis, they played so well, and as you look at those scores, not reflective of how close that entire series was. But you don't gotta take it from me. Blaze, will you take it away? I know you're talking with Optic on the floor.